Hello everyone, this is Jordan. Welcome back to the Daily Gold YouTube channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. And if you're new here, thank you so much for tuning in. And each and every Friday, we wrap up the week in precious metals and look ahead. And that's what we're doing in this video, which again is being recorded on the early evening of Friday, July 11th, 2025. What a week it was for precious metals and specifically for silver. And what a week it was for silver and the silver stocks. They had a great breakout week and exploded. Silver finally took out that $37 resistance. Now it's going to be on its way to $41, $42. The silver stocks, SIL, the ETF, broke out of a 12 or 13 year long base. SILJ, the junior silver stocks ETF, right behind SIL. That should break out sometime in the short term. So silver and silver stocks have been heating up. Gold and gold stocks still consolidating, acting bullish. Let's look ahead and see what's coming over the next week or two. As always, we start off here with an overview of the precious metals market. And you have a few different charts here. We're looking at a little bit of a longer period, as you can see here. Gold, this is the 50-day moving average. This is the 200-day, by the way. And gold, this is evolving into a bullish consolidation, even though gold is lagging the sector right now. Silver is leading. Select silver stocks, select gold stocks are outperforming. We want to see that. We want to see those rising and gold lagging. Gold consolidating here. This is a bullish consolidation. Probably continues for at least another month or so. We'll talk more about that in the gold slide. Silver here, you can see, as I mentioned in the past video, I may have mentioned this last Friday as well. This is a bull flag here, so it's breaking out here. Measured upside target of 41. It's a clear breakout. Silver against the S&P, that's moved higher, so we'll look for this, or we'll look for this ratio, rather, to break above this resistance here. We'd love to see that next week. Gold against the S&P, gold against the stock market. I've been a little concerned about this in recent weeks, but the ratio has come down, and it started to stabilize in the last week or two above the rising 200-day moving average. We'll get more into that in the next slide. GDX, GDXJ, what do we see here? They're still holding above the 50-day moving average. The last 2-3 weeks or so, look at this. This is bullish. They're holding, they're stabilizing. They were up today. They're getting ready to push higher like that. That is my opinion. So short-term bullish action, even though they're lagging the silver stocks. There's SILJ, SIL, the large silver stocks broke out today. That's a higher high. SILJ also broke out. Love to see that, the silver stocks. Here's the stock market. So we love to see the silver stocks in the sector outperforming the stock market. Now, let's get into specifics here, starting off with gold and gold against the stock market. We talked about it here. This has been weak recently, but is it starting to stabilize here? So this is a good sign. Started to get a short-term bottom here at this area. And then the last couple of days, you see a nice push higher. This is a retest of the breakout that we had earlier this year, 0.50. This is a 200-day moving average. So really strong long-term support here. Nice to see gold against the stock market find its footing. Here is the daily gold chart. Here's the 150-day. Here's the 200-day moving average. I've talked about this in recent months about the potential to test the 200-day here, even the 150-day. I'm not sure it's going to happen at this point. We have seen gold holding this support here, which is just below 3,300. So this is a key short-term support level. And assuming and presuming that this support level is going to hold, I would look for something to play out like this, where you just have a bullish consolidation like this. And maybe this ascending triangle pattern here, which I've talked about, it's pretty rough, but it still could be happening, or transpiring, I should say. But either way, whether it's that pattern or not, this is a bullish consolidation. Now, the potential downside, if I'm wrong and gold reverses and falls back below here, then you would look for it to come down here, probably test this support. And who knows if that happens in a couple weeks or it happens this month here, maybe we can test the 150-day at that point. But here's the important thing. Even if we get a short-term breakdown and it falls down here, you're still likely to see a rally here, and then it remains in a bullish consolidation. So it's just a question of, this is a really bullish consolidation here. or are we going to be in a less bullish, but still bullish consolidation? This is the key indicator here. If this moves like that, then you're going to see something like this play out. So that's gold in the gold stocks. Let's get to something more exciting, silver in the silver stocks. So here you see, this is the bull flag pattern that we identified, and clear breakout today. What a move in silver, up $1.35 today. This is your bullish flag right here. And so in a bull flag pattern, you get this tight consolidation. And when you get the breakout, this move that started the flag projects like that. And so that gives us an upside target, a measured upside target of about $41 an ounce. This is also, this is an ascending triangle pattern, a rough one, but this projects, depending on how you measure it, to about $41. So really strong targets for silver at $41. I forgot to put in the monthly chart of silver, but if you look at the weekly and the monthly, you know where the next strong resistance is for silver? It's around 42, 41, 42. So that's where this move is going, in my opinion, in the short term. Staying with silver, let's check out my favorite analog chart right now. And so this is silver's performance after and when gold makes a breakout to a new all-time high and sustains it. And here is what we have on this chart. We have 1972 and 2024. We have an average of the three, which is 1972, 1978, and 2009. So an average of the three, two of those we're not showing here. And then we have an average of the week or two. So this is only an average of 1972 and 2009. And of course, the black is where we are here and now. It starts at the end of February before gold, or I should say as gold was making its move to that epic cup and handle breakout. So black is where we are here and now. And the blue here is 1972. And I've talked about this in tweets and other videos, how 1972 is the best comp for gold today. And if we look at this chart, silver is following its performance in 1972. And if we look at the 1972, look at this right now. This is projecting, we'll call it 3 months or so. That's projecting a move up to $49, which we know is epic resistance. And then look at this. This does a beautiful cup and handle right here. An exceptional breakout through 50 and then all the way up to, I think this is a hundo actually. So here and now, are we going to see silver move up to 49 in 3 months? Maybe, but I will tell you, I do think this is going to move up to right here, and this is probably 41 or 42. So interesting, this projects a move up to that major resistance, and then you get a pullback here, which is like 41, 42. So that's actually pretty natural as far as price action. You get to 41, 42, maybe it's here, you pull back a bit, break above it, you go to 50, then you have a bigger pullback down to 41, 42 before breaking out. So I know I'm droning on here about silver and the potential, but that's where we are here and now. Long story short, it's following 1972 pretty closely. And if it continues to do that, it's going to be pretty damn exciting for us silver bugs moving forward over the months ahead. Okay, so one more chart of silver. You guys know I love looking at gold against the 60-40 portfolio and silver as well. Remember, gold in March of this year, it broke out of a 10-year-long base against the 60-40 portfolio. And we know that this March and April, the gold stocks, the silver stocks, gold and silver, they really began to move after that breakout because that breakout signals, or it signaled, that capital was moving out of conventional assets, stocks and bonds, and into gold. And so this is silver against the 60-40 portfolio using a 60-40 ETF, and my data tracks this very, very closely. So this is weekly data, silver against the 60-40, resistance here, and what do you know? This is where silver is right here. This is a bar chart. It's a weekly bar chart. So it is a little messy, but this close right here is a clear 4.5-year breakout. So silver against the 60-40 in weekly closing terms, this has closed at, again, a 4.5-year high, maybe like a 4.6 or 4.7 year high. I have not checked the daily price action, but it very well could be a daily breakout as well. But nevertheless, weekly breakout here. And if we see this thing move up here, which I think is more likely than not at this point, that would signal more capital coming out of stocks and bonds and going into silver. And if you think about, okay, silver broke above 37. It has a clear path to move to 41, 42. You're probably going to see it trend, this ratio, I should say, trend higher up towards this line right here. And at that point, then you have this, you're setting up for, this is a 10-year, 11-year base right here. And so eventually, this ratio breaking above this 10, 11-year resistance here, that's going to be the signal that not only can silver get to 50, but also break 50. Because when you get a move like this, that's setting the stage for silver to break 50. So really exciting times for silver. It's also exciting times for subscribers of the Daily Gold Premium. And those of you who are subscribers and have taken the leap, thank you so much for your business. I appreciate you. It's your subscribing that allows me to do the work that I love to do. And I cover the companies that I'm personally investing in, other companies that I'm interested in. I'm looking at strong companies that really have the ability to go up 3x to 5x in the next 2-3 years in this record bull market we're seeing in gold and silver. So I'm looking at strong fundamental companies that have big upside potential, and I'm looking for the best values as well. So I incorporate lots of fundamental analysis on these companies. I talk to my sources in the industry, and of course, I also use my technical analysis skills, and I'm focusing more on silver these days. And so would love to have you come aboard and take the leap. And you can follow this down here at thedailygold.com/premium. Scroll to the bottom to sign up. Would love to have you. And again, all those subscribers out there, thank you so much. I appreciate you. And so moving on, let's talk about silver stocks. So here we have the SIL ETF, the large silver stocks, SILJ, the juniors. These are monthly candles. So these are monthly charts. And we can see this is a breakout. So the silver stocks are breaking out of, actually, that's a 12-year base since 2013. And what's next? Going to be the junior silver stocks, SILJ. They're a little bit behind. They have a little bit more room to go, but I expect that they will break out as well and join the seniors. Now, in past videos, I have also talked about gold against the CPI as an excellent fundamental indicator for the gold stocks, because the CPI is an indicator of mining costs. And so if we look at gold divided by the CPI, it gives us a sense of where mining margins are going. And gold has to outperform the costs and the rising costs in many cases for the gold miners to do really well and for share prices to rise. And it's the same is true with silver against the CPI and silver producers. And so just like gold divided by the CPI is a great indicator for gold stocks, silver against the CPI is a great indicator for silver stocks. Look at this chart here. This is silver against the CPI. This is coming up to, it's actually broken out because it's a delayed chart. I'll get back to that in a moment, but it's coming up to a 12-year long base. Look how close this chart here aligns with the senior silver stocks and the junior silver stocks. And again, the reason for that is because the profitability of silver companies can be expressed by silver divided by the CPI, just like it can for gold companies with gold against the CPI. And by the way, this chart here has not been updated for over a month, and that's because we're waiting for the June CPI reading. So that's why it's delayed. But if you look at where the silver price is now and you estimate where inflation is going to be, this is already broken out. This is a delayed chart. So this is broken out, and this tells us there's big room for silver divided by costs to rise significantly. And so that's why silver stocks have potential to make a similar move, and why we have to take advantage of this now in the next year or so when metals prices are rising much faster than the cost. 18 months down the line, we're going to start to see cost inflation, and the stocks are going to slow down at that point. So that is my thinking on silver stocks. Now, moving on, I mentioned this last week, and I wasn't going to include it, but I had to include it again because it's even stronger. Look at the positive divergence here in the GDX advanced decline line. This is GDX. This is the advanced decline line. And we can see here in the past, there's other, I should have adjusted this, but you can see this is higher lows here. This is a lower low here. This is a higher low here, lower low. So we went lower. This here is a lower low in GDX, but we had a higher low here. So this is a positive divergence. Higher low here, slight positive divergence. And so now we're seeing a significant higher low in the GDX advanced decline line. It's already broken out here to a new high, and GDX not yet. It's still struggling. And so the advanced decline line This line here is a measure of the cumulative participation of all the gold stocks. It tells us every day how many gold stocks are rising minus how many gold stocks are falling. In a market or sector or any group, it's its strongest. You're getting most of the components in that group to rise and participate. If you think of a sports team, think about a football team. A football team is at its best when the offense is doing really well, the defense is doing well, and the special teams are doing really well. That is much stronger than a team, well, they're winning, but their offense is doing really well, and the other parts of the team are not doing as well. That leaves it susceptible to start losing when the offense pulls back a little bit. So that's an explanation for how the advanced decline line works. What this tells us is we're seeing this isn't just a few stocks or half the stocks that are doing well or rising in GDX. This is telling us that most of the stocks are rising. So this is a very good sign. This tells us that this is probably going to break out and run to the upside soon. Finally, last chart here is a short-term chart of GDX, GDXJ, SILJ. And we can see here, again, the silver stocks have been leading. This is the silver juniors. They've broken out. GDXJ, GDX, they have not broken out yet, but you know what? That's fine. That's perfectly fine with me. This is a very bullish consolidation because we had this peak here in April, and this is correcting. I should say the gold stocks are correcting through time. This was the price decline. This was a price decline right here. The rest of this is happening through time. Price decline here, move up, and now you're going sideways like this. This was the start of the correction. Who knows? Maybe there's another leg down here. Maybe it'll end here before you get that leg higher. So these are bullish setups, the way the gold stocks are consolidating. But again, based on what we said in the last slide, it's likely that the gold stocks sooner rather than later, they're going to trend higher and move to new highs. And that is the end of the video for today, the weekly wrap up. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment. Would love to hear from you. Hope you all had a great week and hope you all have an even better weekend. I'll talk to you guys again coming up for Macro Mondays. Thank you.